Hello friends, the topic of this video is design consideration for building data warehouse. Means whenever you build data warehouse, what are the various design prospects or design consideration that should be taken into account for building data warehouse. So first point, there are 7 to 8 points that I want to discuss in this video. So let us see, first point is heterogeneity of data sources. Heterogeneity of data sources. Now from this diagram, you can understand what is heterogeneous data. Heterogeneous data means data which is not uniform, which is coming from various sources. If complete data is coming from one single one database, or if complete data is coming from one single Excel or multiple Excel file, then it is homogeneous data. Heterogeneous data means you can see this is RDBMS, this is CSV file, this is Word file. So this is heterogeneous data. The data is stored in different format. Here the data is structured, here it is structured, here it is unstructured. Then it is converted into one unique format and then it is loaded into data warehouse. DW means data warehouse. So here data integration is done. In data integration it is converted into one unique format and loaded into data warehouse. So whenever you build a data warehouse, you should keep in mind that the data will always come from heterogeneous sources and we have to convert the data into one unique format. So this should be the first, or this is the first design consideration. Now let us see other consideration. So second point is use of historical data. So second consideration is use of historical data. Now data warehouse always contain old data. Data warehouse, the main aim of data warehouse is to keep the old data or historical data. So you always assume that the data will be always old. And what is the purpose of data warehouse? The purpose of data warehouse for data analysis. You are storing historical data, from that historical data will be analyzed and then future prediction will be done. So the main aim of data warehouse is to store historical data. Now whenever historical data is stored, all complete data is not useful. If your data contain 20 attributes and you want to store into data warehouse, at the time of loading into data warehouse, you will come to know that only 5 attributes are useful in the future. So you can load only that 5 attributes. So you should always think that there will be historical data, but all historical data is not necessary to store in the data warehouse. The example is, suppose if you are doing daily transaction, so that belongs to OLTP data. After 24 hours the transaction will be deleted and loaded into data warehouse. Now all the attributes of the transaction are not useful. So what you can do, you can find out which are the important attributes and which can be loaded into data warehouse. So data warehouse always contain historical data. Third point is tendency of database to grow large. This is the third point. Now tendency of database means data warehouse itself is a database. All databases are data warehouse. Now whenever if you start organization, the organization will generate the data will continuously grow, and data will always continuously grow. It should not reduce over the time. So your database or data warehouse should be scalable. Means you must be if you are storing the data in 10 computers right now, then after some time or after some days, after some year, you must be able to accommodate the data which is daily generated daily. So for that you will require more number of computers. So your data warehouse architecture should be scalable. Means you must be able to add more number of computers, you must be able to add the hard disk if required. So this is the third design consideration that should keep in mind. Then fourth is data content. So fourth design consideration is data content. Now what is data content? In data warehouse you have to you have to find out which data is necessary, which is not necessary. If you are storing redundant data, then unnecessary it will occupy the, or it will increase the size of the data warehouse. So you should find out which attributes are necessary, which data is necessary. Only unique data should be stored in data warehouse. So that's why the main this is the main point, data content. What to store, what not to store in the data warehouse is the main point. Data warehouse will not contain all the data of the organization because some data is redundant, some is not useful. So that should be removed or that should be omitted at the time of storing the data. So this is the fourth design consideration. Next is metadata. This is the fifth design consideration. Now what is metadata? Metadata is about data about the data. The best example is if you see the index of the book at the last, then you will find keyword and page number. So that is that this keyword will be found at this page number. So that is metadata. Telephone directory is the another example. Now in case of data warehouse, there should be metadata. Suppose your data warehouse contains 1000 tables, and if you want to go to table number 4, and if you are storing the data on, let us say 25 PC or 25 computers, so metadata will contain information which table is stored at which location or on which PC. So that's why metadata is always necessary at the time of designing the data warehouse. So whenever you want to extract certain data, you can refer metadata and then you can easily extract the data. Another is if you created the table in the data warehouse, then you should store the information who has created the user, when it is accessed, how much data has been accessed. All these information can be stored in metadata. So data warehouse must contain metadata. You can also store the information in metadata like who has accessed the data warehouse, from which date, from which time, what was the time, and then what, how much data has been extracted. Complete data can be stored in metadata, so it will provide you quick reference of the data warehouse. Next is data distribution. This is the sixth design consideration. Data distribution means suppose there is 100 GB of data. There is 100 GB of data and there are 5 computers. So you have to decide how to store the data. What you can do is you can equally divide this 100 GB into 5, means 20 into 5. This is the first thing, or you can randomly distribute it. So you have to decide data distribution strategy at the time of designing the data warehouse. You cannot randomly send the data to any of the machine. You can follow uniform strategy or according to the capacity. Some machine having higher storage capacity, some machines having lower storage capacity. So according to their capacity, you can decide the strategy. Next is not only about storing the data, you can decide, suppose your data warehouse is distributed, means some machines are in one city, some machines are in another city. So where to store the data, how much data can be stored in one city. Suppose there are two offices of the organization, one is headquarter, second one is secondary office. So main data or important data can be stored at headquarter and secondary data can be stored at secondary office. So this can be the strategy for data distribution. So this is the sixth design consideration. Then seventh is tools. Now if you store the data in data warehouse, you must be able to extract the data from the data warehouse. So at that time you will require tool. So you require query tool. Now what is the use of query tool? Query tool is used to extract the data from the data warehouse. Now once you extracted the data from the data warehouse, you will require reporting tool. So what is reporting tool? Reporting tool is used to generate the reports. Then third one can be data mining tool. So the main aim of data warehouse is data mining, and for the prerequisite for data mining is data warehouse. So if you want to, data mining tool will find out the most useful data from the huge amount of data. Data mining tool is intelligent as compared to these two tools. Because these tools are static, but data mining tool has intelligence and it will use the algorithms of the data mining. So there should be tools to extract the data. Another is, if you are using the tool, then there should be data visualization, means you must be able to picturize the data in the form of bar chart, pie chart, histogram, there are various visualization format. Then you must be able to assign ranking to the data, which is more useful, which is less useful. So there are a lot of important features that should be incorporated while selecting the tool. And last design consideration is performance. So whenever you use data warehouse or whenever you build data warehouse, it should give you higher performance. It should give high throughput, very high response time. But sometimes it is not possible because data warehouse contains huge amount of data, so response time is little bit slow as compared to database or online transactional processing system. So, but ideally, database should provide you higher performance. So these are the various design considerations that should keep in mind while building the data warehouse. So that's it for this video. I do hope you understand this all design consideration. If you like the video, then please subscribe, like and share. Thank you.